Oh, hi, I'm wearing new socks. They're very comfortable. What a good time! Let's look at some comic books and appreciate the art within. Rocket Raccoon. He's not actually a rocket, but he is a raccoon. I guess that's his name. Ah, Skottie Young. You probably know him as Skottie Young. He's pretty well known in comics these days. He has that I Hate Fairyland comic, which I had a little part in, and he does all like the Marvel Baby little drawings. And actually, there's more I can say about this. Look, this weird like space ninja looking guy, and he's sneaking around, and there's aliens, and then he throws a bomb, and he blows them up. And then he unzips. Oh, it's Rocket in a suit. That's pretty fun. Skottie Young. He's pretty well known. He's got his very, very, I don't want to say cartoony style, because to me that conjures images of like Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse and that kind of shit. But he's got a very cartoonist style, like the style of a cartoonist, like Sunday morning paper. Sorry, cartoons. You know, comic strips, lots of heavy, obvious ink brush line work, cartoonist sort of style. That's the sort of style Skottie Young has, which fits with what he does very well. But it's quite a leap to go from his very, very cartoonist style to a full Marvel comic, I feel. However, it's done bloody well. I assume he submitted the story because this is all written by him as well, which is really, really good to see. He's an artist, obviously a great artist, but he wrote the entire thing, which is pretty fantastic. So I assume he submitted the story and some artwork and said, hey, let me do this. And Marvel said, do you know what? Bloody do it. This was the first one I saw. I had to go back and get issue 1 afterwards because I saw that on the comic book shop shelf and it stood out to me straight away because fucking look at it. Isn't that bloody great? Hand painted, I guess over one of Skottie Young's drawings, painted by Jean-François Beaulieu. I believe that's how that's pronounced. I think it's French. Jean-François Beaulieu, who colours the comics, and the colours within these comics are really, really great, and paints these covers over Skottie's drawings. And they're fucking good. Guns and shit, like, that's a great image. That stood out to me right away. So I picked it up, read it, thoroughly bloody enjoyed it. This is really cool. He's been captured or whatever, and he's been interrogated, and that's from season 1 of True Detective, where he's making little drinks cans, people, time is a flat circle. What does that even mean? Where do these beers come from? I mean, I want to look at every panel of it because it's all really good. Group wrestling and a thing and the sci-fi stuff. It's all bloody good. Skottie's style works really. Skottie, you know, I call him Skottie because we're basically pals. These designs of these like intergalactic police are really, really cool. The pouches, of course. It works so well with Rocket as a character because Rocket's an absurd character. So I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I enjoyed it. It's a pretty fun film. A nice little romp through space. Absurd, ridiculous. Rocket as a character is good. Visually, sort of like, okay, you just about believe it. It's a raccoon or whatever. But in this cartoony style, when you take an absurd idea and draw it in a, not an absurd way, but in a cartoonish way, it works really, really well. It complements, yeah. You get the style and the character, and they complement nicely. Yeah, it's cool. I like this bit. So he's been put in prison, and space prison no less, and he's smuggled in a toothpick, and he plants the toothpick, and it's actually a bit of Groot, and he grows a Groot in the prison. All of the visual storytelling is really, really good. Obviously, Skottie's cartoonish characterizations, all his, these characters are all really, really cool. Very, very cool. This, I love this. Is a great spread. Start, and they're going through ducts and pipes and stuff. You can see them running around, blasting things, shooting, dealing with tentacles and shit. Jump down here, shoot, bang, wallop, crash, end as they escape. They escape the prison. That's a really, really cool spread. Very cool. Colours. The colours by Jean-François Bialu. Really, really good colours. Really, 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 really good colours. It's bright and colourful. There's loads of colours all over the place, but they're all very, very complementary of each other. There's nothing too outrageous. It all fits, and it looks like this is probably a lot of fun to draw. Like draw a space car, just make it really, really fucking weird and cool. It's got like a brain engine thing in the pod on the front. Fucking adverts everywhere. Multivitamins, really cool. What's happening? He shot that guy. That's pretty dark. But he's also here. There must be two of them. I think these are all like ex-girlfriends of his or something. I think I did read it, but a long time ago. And they're all ganging up to kill Rocket. All these ships are really cool designs. Made cooler by the colours. The colours of the space in the background, purple, blue, turquoise, really, really cool blending there. And then the ships, all very, very nice. Cool. I want to go through all of it, but I want to spend ages looking at every panel. But, it'll take forever. There's like a fish that they use to warp onto like a desert planet. Pretty cool. Yeah, the artwork's what pulled me in. The story, which, we're not really talking about story, we're talking about artwork. But the story's really cool. It's a really, I hate to use the word too often, but it's a genuinely fun comic. I enjoyed reading it, which I don't do with most comics. I sort of, if I do read them, I go, oh, that was good. That was pretty interesting. I like how they do the thing. But this, I really enjoyed reading along every issue as the story developed. I was like, cool. And it's crazy, weird sci-fi space exploits. Freaky shit going on. And then, it does get a bit dark here and there. These are really cool panels. Really, really good playing with you can't really talk about silhouettes without mentioning, obviously, Frank Miller, but Mignola. It's quite a Mignola-esque way of... But at the same time, Mignola and Frank Miller aren't the only two people to have used silhouette, so it's quite valid on its own as a method of telling a story. There's two rockets. Oh my god, there's fucking two of them! Oh my fucking god! Issue 4. The story progresses, as does the art. It's really, really cool. The shapes and everything, like the skinny little legs and the big puffy tail. It's really, really well drawn. There's not too much more I can say about the art, other than, just look at it. It's just good. I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy looking at all of it. It wasn't actually a raccoon, it was a rabbit. Black Jack O'Hare, apparently. I assume he's nodding toward Bucky O'Hare. A little wink nudge. Oh, cool, it's hand soap now. Brilliant. Thanks, advertising. So glad you exist on the planet, on this stupid world. Really, really cool colours. I guess like flashback. The monochromatic flashback panels. Cool punch, good silhouette usage. Really good use of the panoramic panels there. That's really, really smart. To show action, because you want to like open up space for the action. So like a panoramic panel, like a wide screen. That's pretty funny. Not blood, promise. Because obviously Marvel would be a bit like, oh, that's a bit much. Not blood. See, it's green. Although that's blood. I guess some blood's allowed. I don't know. Panoramic. Weird shit happening. Ba, 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 ba. The ladies are there. Oh, he just got fucked. That's pretty funny. Slap. Slap. Yeah, the artwork. And that's what I mean when I say it's not cartoony, because it's not like, you know, when she's slapping him, his eyes aren't going out of his head. You know, his brain isn't coming out, holding up a wooden sign going, yeah, ouch, that's smart. But it's cartoonish. But it's grounded, see? It's grounded still. And the world he's built is really, really cool. Everything's very believable within the context. Like in zombie films, you can argue like, well, zombies shouldn't be able to run because their corpses sort of do. But then you can say, well, the dead don't actually rise up and eat people. That's made up. So surely they can run. But flipping the bird, that's pretty funny. But then I don't know what I'm saying. If you're going to create a world that has zombies, you've got to have rules. So you say the zombies, because their corpses probably can't run, therefore this and this and this and this, and you set out some rules. So even within this absurd world where there's a tree guy and a raccoon that are friends and he's got guns and shit, that's really, really cool, by the way. You have to have rules, so it has to be grounded somewhat. Those first 4 issues are actually, out of all the 11 issues, those are the only 4 that Skottie Young draws himself. All the others he did the stories for, and then it's Jake Parker and Andrade. What's his name? Philippe Andrade or Andrade. I'm not sure. Apologies. He did 2 issues, and then Jake Parker. Jake Parker. Very, very good artist. You can't argue that. Is that Skottie Young? Yeah, it looks like Skottie did the opening panels, and then the actual story is Jake Parker. You can see straight away. Very bold lines, very solid forms, very good artwork. Obviously, machinery and stuff is kind of what he does, alien designs and things. So that's all very good. I don't want to comment on him, but, you know, he's a Mormon, and I was raised in the Mormon church, so I have every right to talk shit about them, because fuck them all. But his art's good. The machinery he draws is just an excuse to throw someone out in there, obviously. But it's really good. It looks really, really good. It fits within the world. Sort of... I mean, Skottie Young didn't invent, like, sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of world. But Skottie Young set out the rules in the first few issues, and they are being followed very well by Jake Parker. Yeah, he carries on nicely. Fits the style. That's like so Jake Parker. That's such a Jake Parker panel. Actually, this whole issue is a really interesting one because so there with kids at a campfire, these little alien kids, and they go to tell stories. So Groot tells a story. So this is Groot telling a story about this adventure they had. So all the dialogue, it's all Groot explaining Rocket said this. So he said, I am Groot, because that's all he says. So it's I am Groot, I am Groot. So all anyone says, even the robot, I am Groot, I am Groot. Oh, that's Rocket in the robot. My mistake. These guys, Groot, Groot, Groot. So that's a funny little like thing to put in, as like it's Groot telling the story, therefore it's Groot. Everything's Groot because he's the one telling the story. Even the posters, I am Groot. That's quite funny. I only just noticed that. I am Groot on all the signs. That's quite funny. But it does work because of this. It has to work visually. The story has to be able to be told with just the pictures. So you have to be able to understand what's happening, even though you can't understand necessarily what people are saying. It's implied what they're saying, as Deadpool, through their actions. So it's very visual. So in that respect, it works as a silent comic, which is something I prize above a lot of other comics. Is comics that you're able to tell an entire story with no words whatsoever. There's a lot of famous ones. Mobius's Arzak is one of the most famous, possibly. And I do have a couple more to mention in other videos, which I will do soon. But this is a very good sort of like surprise example of that, where it's not technically silent because it does have dialogue, but if you white out all the text, the story would still be told just as well. And then the gag is this whole huge adventure. They both went on to find this treasure. They were going overseas and fighting monsters and, finding relics and things. It was all a big surprise birthday thing for Rocket. And look how upset he is. He thought he'd have treasure. And then the gag on top of the gag, which is quite funny, is all the kids are like, did you understand any of that? Nope, not a word. And then there's one kid clapping. He's a leaf boy. See, he understood because he's a plant. So it works. That's quite funny. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. Fun and interesting. I know there's been other ones. There's like the only thing that really comes to mind right now is some issues of Hawkeye I saw that were told very visually because he's deaf, and so they were told with regards to showing visually how he interprets the world without sound or something like that. That was pretty interesting. So it's really good when a comic does something with the medium. It's not just a comic about superheroes fighting or whatever. And I think with Rocket Raccoon flying through space, being a bounty hunter or whatever, going on all these crazy adventures and missions, it's really good material to play with. Look, that's like a moon, but it's like a guy's head. It's weird. These bugs are cool. Do have to give that to Jake Parker. His sense of design, like his ideas that he comes up with. A space station that's like a big Titan head. A talking dog or robots. Good colour. I assume it's still Francois. Yes, doing the colour. Very, 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 very good. That's like a little Hellboy nod, I'm sure. It's quite cool. Like the guns and stuff. And I may or may not be working on something of a sci-fi comic myself currently. So this is all good stuff for me to see, which is partly why I'm showing these, is an excuse for me to look through them, to absorb sci-fi comic energy. This is really good. This is a really good panel. All of this page tells you space, marketplace, black market guns and stuff, the fabric and the lights and things. I've tried to do that a few times and it's really hard to get right because you want to throw in enough information to show it's a marketplace, it's bustling, there's all this stuff going on, but you don't want to crowd it because you want to be able to still see what's happening. And if there's a point of focus, you need to be able to focus on it. That's really hard to do well. This is a really good example of it done well, so that's cool. Good on Mr. Parker for that. Robot fights. As with Skottie's pages, this is probably really, really fun to draw. Like if someone said you have to draw this Rocket Raccoon comic with all these aliens and robots fighting, that would probably be an absolute blast to actually sit and draw. And it's Marvel, so they probably made a ass load of money off of it. That was the first round. Those first 6 issues, and then much later, or probably months or a year later, came the next round of these 5 issues. Very pale covers. New round of comics, new story, new artists. Philippe Andrade. It's a very, very different style. I don't know much of the guy's work. I've recently followed him on Instagram. His individual drawings are fantastic. I've not seen much of his comic book work, but this is... I mean, look at that. I guess the colour, again, is still... Yeah, the same colourist, so that's cool. But a really different vibe. Slightly more rugged and gritty looking Rocket Raccoon. Gnarly fucking monsters, man. That angle and everything, that's a really difficult one to capture, but that's really, really well done. Do like that a lot. I think it looks like it's probably a brush and ink as opposed to a brush pen. It may be a brush pen, but it looks like it's probably a brush, an individual brush dipped into ink to create these. With the washes and stuff, it's a really, really nice look to it. That's fucking good, man. These gnarly, gnarly monsters. That's cool. Snowy landscape. I've got a comic like that. Again, I take inspiration from everywhere. Steal everything all the time. I have read this, but I don't know, years ago now, so no idea what's happening really. But the artwork's very, very good. The artwork's very, very, very good. It's cartoony, but it's like not ridiculous cartoony. I like it. I like it. A dragon and gold and shit. And the covers by Skottie Young are really, really cool. That's the one. That's a really, really cool one. That's quite a popular one. Very good indeed. These 2 issues are one story by the same artist. Really nice, like inks or watercolours or whatever. It's a nice touch. The flashbacks, monochromatic watercolours, making them very, very different from the rest of the comic. It's very, very cool. And this is an example, all of these comics are a good example of digital colour done well, where, especially in the early ones, it's digital colour, but like it fits the drawing style. So it's not all this airbrush stuff, making everything look shiny and clean and nice. It's like jagged, and like it's just been painted, like just 2-tone shading, just like... It's just good, man. It's a really good example of shit. Slightly more like faded and painted backgrounds, more solid characters running around them, like old animation style, like a cartoon. Because, you know, modern superhero comics with all their airbrushed digital colour is all a bit bullshittery, really, isn't it? And then these 3, I believe, are Jake Parker again, picking up the art chores. Giant Groot with the Hulk jumps into his mouth. That's pretty funny. I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Parker's sense of storytelling is just on point. Hulk running, all the little people are tiny to him, bounces off a car, jumps up the buildings, off this building, the pyramid of viewing up to the apex, and then crunch as he eats him. I know it's like a side note. It doesn't really matter. It's very much, they're basically background. You know, they're part of the setting. I don't think much of these drawings of people, but I couldn't necessarily do better. And then, you know, you see these and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he can draw humans. Never mind. That was just, there's no need to say that. It was just a little thing I noticed, I guess. More of this like sci-fi spaceport market stuff that's really, really cool. I might steal some of these panels and just redraw them for my own comic, because that's really good, actually. You got the space station like roof, the hanging fabric is a really, really nice touch. The awnings, the pipes leaking and stuff. Like, it's simple, but there's a lot going on, even with how simple it is. Damn. Old rugged Rocket Raccoon. Like the punch made of rock. I don't know, the story's like Iron Man trying to enlist him to do something to help with the giant Groot, I guess. I don't know. Rips the ship in half. Cool. See, that's cool. It's, you know, cool drawings and all, but like, I've seen 8,000 drawings that look similar to that. Then contrast it with this sort of style. This is fun. This is comic books. Sure. It's good. Obviously good. You know, it's well drawn. But like, sure. This is like, oh, well, that's kind of cool, neat and different. It's a bit of fun. Nice. Giant raccoon robot mech thing to fight the giant Groot. That's really cool. Double page spread there. And it's a video game, I guess. I don't know. Look how sad Groot is that it's over. I guess he was enjoying himself. Oh, he saved the day or something. Really nice city. Again, his design sensibilities are pretty great. This has to be one of my favourites, actually, this double page spread. Look at that. We love a Kraken, Cthulhu, giant mythical old god monster. That's really, really fucking cool. I like that a lot. The ships are cool, obviously, but like, that's something else. That's nice. I'd hang that if I had a print of that, of one piece of artwork. I'd hang that on my wall. That's really, really good. And the rest of it is just, you know, more Jake Parker being really, really good at what he does. Good comic, good colours. Again, all the way through, the colours are really, really on to the point. Very good. I mean, like I say, there's not much else I can say other than look at the art. It's very good. It's a fun comic, fun visually. The story's fun. They've built a fun world within the stories they're telling around the characters. And the characters are well drawn, well realised, and they've got character to them. They all have purpose and reason. But mostly the artwork, they look cool. Look, his bike turns into a fucking like rocket backpack ship thing. Wow. Design more spaceships. Literally, if I design a spaceship, I go like square box, put a fin on it, there, it's a spaceship. But that's like, no, actually make it look like a functioning spaceship. That's probably why they're like paid professional comic book artists. And I sit and look at them and go, oh, isn't that nice? Which it is. So this is the end of the whole, I guess, 2 chapters, 11 issues. He's back in space prison. You get all the space police around his ship, ready to shoot his way out. Gets caught, back in space prison, and then he's met the same guys. This guy with the 4 arms, this guy with the antennas. Did you bring one of those Groot picks with you? Yes, I am Groot. See, he's got the little toothpick again, like in issue 2, I think. Is that when it happened before? Yeah, issue 2. And yeah, it's exactly the same. Jake Parker, Skottie Young, guy with the antennas, big furry guy with the 4 arms. Got the Groot pick, the toilet water, get the toilet. Oh, that's a really nice way to round it off, actually, as a whole. I don't often recommend things, so I won't.